Thanks so much for coming to Goddess Garden, where you grow, flow within and out, and you welcome peace within you, and you transmute that energy right out. So today I'm taking y'all along to show y'all what I'm talking about with a thriving ecosystem, not ecosystem, a garden that's going to be able to feed you, your family, and the living life that's surrounded around, even what's in ground. So let me show y'all what I'm talking about. Over here, y'all, there's layers. It's like a lasagna method. This is not a raised bed. I literally just put a brick in this area and then put wood. It's not raised at all. It's not even a foot off the ground. Only reason why I did this because I wanted to keep Bermuda grass out of my area. Somehow it just still end up in here. She still want to come over here, but I'm gonna pull her out. But in this garden bed, I have compost. When I'm saying compost, I have scraps from my kitchen scraps. I have kitchen scraps in here. I have chopping drops in here, and then I don't separate a lot of stuff. I don't use a bunch of worm castings or anything like that. It has to be on sale for me to actually get those things. But to me, that's actually silly to be buying worm castings when you can literally just offer those worms. Well, not offer the worms. Well, yeah, the worms will come to your garden if there's organic matter in there. So you want to add organic matter to your soil. My soil is clay soil, actually red clay soil, to be exact. I think it's red clay. Different spots is it has red clay. So, but it's really thick and it was compacted. So that's where those ants come in at. Ants actually loosen up the soil. So I don't mind those ants being in my garden. Just make sure you leave me alone and leave me and my ants alone. Period. And they gonna do what they're gonna do in the soil. Some people say that they farm aphids. They do farm aphids. I'm not gonna tell y'all that they don't. However, if you have a balanced soil, they won't even be there. So the thing is that I'm not here to decimate or create a problem for these living creatures that's in the soil, that's there to actually help with the soil, that's there to actually help loosen up the soil for these plants can actually thrive in the soil. Not survive, but thrive. And I'm the fertilizer is helping it survive. If you don't need certain fertilizer, but what you do need, a thriving soil, a living soil, a soil that actually has life. So like I said, for one, I do not chicken scraps. I don't even use those. I don't utilize that, but I use kitchen scraps, and I do a lot of chopping drops in one place. You do not need a bucket. You don't need none of these things. You don't need to go out and buy all these things what everybody else is telling y'all to buy. Because at the end of the day, let me ask nature, are you buying any of these products and then putting them in the soil for the soil to be fertile? I know, hell no. I know nature not doing that. Even the forest not even doing that neither. So like I was stating, is that you want to build up your soil. You don't have to build up your soil by buying all of these amendments, okay? Because you actually have these things around your home. So, and it's really, really easy. After that, if you cannot get your hand on spent mushrooms, skip it, okay? Just skip it. So, I got because those are free, coffee grounds. I put coffee grounds over my food scraps because the rodents not going to want the food scraps if there are coffee grounds on there, because rodents does not like coffee. I don't know if anything like coffee other than flies. Flies may land on them, but other than that, the spent coffee grounds that you may get at a coffee shop, bam, put that on there. There's a lot of not ants, but there's a lot of worms in here because those worms love that organic matter. Bam. Then, if you want, you can start adding. You could add compost. All of these, that's optional. You could add compost because at the end of the day, you could literally start planting in this stuff that what I'm actually telling you. Because at the end of the day, it will breaks down. After that, you can add compost. You can go buy the compost. You can buy the cheapest bag of compost, like the white and yellow bag, whatever. They even have mushroom compost. You can buy the cheapest compost, organic cheapest compost. Okay. And then, after you put your plants inside of there, you want to mulch it. Mulch. This is really important, all right? Because mulch is your best friend. Mulch will actually help break everything. Mulch will actually suppress the weeds. Mulch will actually cover the plant for that can cool the soil. It will actually help cool the soil. Mulch is so underrated, and literally it can actually once because it breaks down. So therefore, you don't need to buy fertilizer, which is the help. It breaks down to this wonderful soil. I did it in my grow bags. With those cloth bags. I did it in my grow bags, and I also did it in pots. I treat my pots and treated my grow bags like I was gardening in ground, because at the time I didn't have a garden that was in ground. I did not use any fertilizers after the mulch have been disintegrated inside the soil. All I kept on doing, putting my plants inside the soil and then mulching it. It's just like mulch. You can get free mulch by Chip Drop or some other companies that will be able to offer it. But you can be able to get away with your gardening like with food scraps and mulch. And I'm just saying, that's it, y'all. That's it, because I done it without buying all of these amendments. There's so many amendments that's literally on the market, and you guys don't like. I'm just like, really, $10 for this 1 pound bag, or not even 1 pound. It's a couple of ounces. Like, that crap. I'm just like, come on now, like, do better. That stuff becomes expensive. Gardening is not expensive, y'all. I feel like people are making it expensive. It's just becoming a market target. Basically, people are trying to target gardening as just marketing, when I know a lot of people is really just trying to live and thrive off of what they are growing, because they already know that the produce that's in the grocery stores, or the markets, are not real. They're just objects. They're lacking in nutrients. They're lacking in nutrients. They're lacking in live microbial. That's what actually is going to actually help with your body also. So that helps with the body. Microbial life actually helps with the body. That actually helps with the soil. That actually helps with the soil, y'all. Microbial. You do not have to go buy microbial life to put inside your soil. No, you do not. Stop. Just stop it. Just stop. When you see a product, you tell yourself, just stop. That could go on a tree or something, like to feed your family, or to feed you, to feed whoever, or just to feed the dang on soil. Trees are really good. Shoot, trees are really, really good. So, like, at the end of the day, is that, or you can literally, here's another one. Save your currency. Yeah, you can really save your currency, or invest into something better. All right, because gardening is an investment. So like I said, those right there, mulch and scraps, which you guys have this all. That's the this is the cheap way. I'm but not get into an expensive way to actually garden, because comprehend with this. I knew how it felt to actually garden, and then just your all your money is going towards your garden. Well, not even all your money is going towards your garden, but it's just like you like, well, you thought that gardening was actually cheaper to garden, but it can be, and it really is. It really is. Do not let people trick y'all into thinking that gardening is expensive. It may be expensive if you want raised beds, but you can do it in the ground. The soil in the ground is actually really healthy, and you can build that soil up. Keep on building it up. Every season it gets better. Every season it gets better. Every season it start getting more microbial life. Every season it start getting more worms. Every season it start getting more of the life that it needs to give for your soil for your plants to actually live and thrive into. Every season. Over here, this is my raised bed. It's 1 foot off the ground. Barely. Barely 1 foot off the ground. But at the end of the day, like I always say, I treat it just like my my in-ground gardening. However, with these I do have to add soil to it, because it will get low. It's not a problem, and that would not be a problem. But I do add a very thick layer of mulch. That's very important, especially if you are gardening in a warmer tempered climate. You want to do chopping drops. You want to do heavy, thick layer of mulching. Mulching is so important. Go through the forest. Go through the forest preserves. Just, I don't know, have you guys walked at a forest preserve, and you guys seen a forest preserve that's unkept? Because there is forest preserve that people are, picking up all the leaves, the trees, and all that, the branches and stuff. I'm talking about the ones that's unkept. Go inside a forest preserve. Go inside of a forest, and you'll be able to tell is that, like, you'll literally just be stepping on a bunch of leaves and a bunch of sticks, and it's all up on organic matter. If you also possibly even rocks or so. But if you look underneath there, you are going to see a bunch of life underneath there. Like, so many creatures. There is a lot of big creatures underneath the soil. It has so much life underneath the soil. So you want to continue on offering organic matter. You want to mimic your soil, like how forest, like an unkept forest preserve, like an unkept forest. That's why you want to mimic. No matter if it's in a raised bed, no matter if it's in what you call it, like a container, no matter if it's in a grow bag, no matter what, you're going to mimic at like the forest. There's no such thing as tossing out soil, like old soil. Soil does not get old. It's because of you're not adding organic matter to the soil if it's in a container. Do not toss out your soil that's in a container. Amend it with organic matter. Amend it. That's it. And you'll be good. You'll be good. Also, I would like to say is that let some of those so-called weeds grow. Let them grow. Let them grow. Let them grow. Yeah, let them grow, y'all. Because that's what's going to offer so much nutrients back into the soil too. Because of these plants that's been, what do you call it? So these plants that's been domesticated, they're not wild plants, but guess what? You could treat them as wild plants. But those native plants are really wild, and they are acclimated, and they know the area, they know the soil, they know and they know how to thrive through it all. So make sure that you guys are letting these weeds grow. You can let a couple of them grow in here. Like I said, I don't like Bermuda grass. that's not even what's the name? I don't even know. Whatever with Bermuda grass, but like with the wild lettuce, like what do you call that? That dandelion. If dandelions is growing in your bed, consider yourself as a blessing. Consider that as abundance, good, bad energy, y'all. Consider that, because that can actually, those so-called weeds, go do your due diligence on them, because those so-called weeds actually have, oh my god, a lot of nutrients, a lot of benefits. So do your research on those. Here is a bed also. This plant grows wild around my area. I don't even know what type of plant it is, but sometimes I pull it up. That's even if I need to spot in this area. I don't know what type of, I forgot what type of plant this is. But if you gonna pull it up, literally you can literally let it compost into place. Pull and then let it disintegrate in the soil. Pull, let it disintegrate in the soil, just like treating it as more so a mulch, rather than just pulling it and throwing it in the compost bin. You don't have to do that. You could literally just pull your plants up, or you can mow it, chop it, and then let it just disintegrate into the soil. Also, I want to add is that you don't need to make like teas, like compost teas and stuff like that. You don't need to. Nature doesn't make compost teas, but if your plant is struggling, you could make them, to help your baby out. To help the plant out, but don't baby these plants too much, because you do not want to have a weak strand, a weak plant. If you're babying your plants too much, you're basically gonna have a weaker strand, a weaker plant. If you start saving those seeds, it ain't nothing but gonna be like a weak plant. That's why some of these little seedlings, that when the wind just blow, they go plop over, because one, some of these seeds are actually grown in they're grown in greenhouses. So like I was saying, is that many plants was possibly grown in a greenhouse, and then from seed to actually harvest. So they probably cannot withstand the real atmosphere or the real ecosystem that nature has, because of they've been babied their whole life. So since they've been babied their whole life, like as soon as you put them in the real, what other may call them the real, but like I say, the real nature, then that's when they may die. You may have like these weak seeds. So don't not baby these plants like that. You can overdo it. Like seriously, a lot of gardeners can overdo it. This is how I think. If the plant wanna die, let it die, baby. Let it die. Just all you gotta do is just plant some more seeds. If you got some fruit off that seed, if you got some fruit off that plant, like a tomato or a pepper, and then it died, go plant more. Save the seeds from your tomatoes. Save the seeds from that pepper plant, and then if it dies, then just let it die. But you actually have like a what's the name? These actually, pepper and tomatoes, all plants is actually perennial. It's just the fact is that something may end up, they may just not like the situation that they're in. And some of them can be able to withstand the situation that they're in. So the thing is that you want to make sure that you guys are basically, you can have a hands-off free garden. You can have a hands-off, but not too much hands-off, because you do want to have some type of helping hand with your garden, some type of helping hand with the garden. Look at the cilantro, y'all. Look at the cilantro. It literally plopped itself over and it is flowering. This is a beautiful cilantro. Like this is my first time growing cilantro like this. This is so pretty. Oh my god, this is really, really pretty. And like so many there's flies on there, but flies are actually pollinators. I don't know if you guys know that, but there's a bunch of ladybugs inside of there, and you know, all the little pollinators go to the cilantro, and then I can throw the seeds right back in there, or I can actually utilize the seeds as far as like with coriander, which is the spice. Oh man, this tastes so good. You cannot make a dish without coriander. That's how I feel. Coriander is so good. It has these type of flavors in here that some of these herbs doesn't offer. Um, if you know anything about coriander or any type of herb that tastes like coriander, drop it down in the comments, okay? Because I would love to know. All right, y'all. So I do talk about natives, right? So I do have some natives plants that I did pick up at my nursery. I will tell y'all is that if you are in an area that, you know, a public area, and you could just pick those free plants, you don't have to actually buy them. I wouldn't even say that. Let me stop encouraging that. But you could go pick them up at your local nursery, those natives. I did get like a Greg Miss red salvia. A salvia. No, it's a salvia, not a Greg Miss. This is a salvia, a red salvia. This one right here, these smell so good. And the chili piquin is native to my area. My chili piquin, I could grow them from seed because I have a bunch of seeds that I actually have, but I do pick them up at the nursery. They tend to come back. One of them came back, but I actually have to, maneuver through all of the mess that I always talk about, which is the passion vine, and because it's like trapped over there, but it's actually being protected. It's protecting it, and these are some natives too, and it smells so good. All right, so y'all, that completes the explaining of how to build up living soil, and which going to be able to feed the ecosystem and also feed you too. So all right, y'all, so make sure that you guys are having a wonderful, abundantly beautiful, good day, and letting peace walk on within you, and you can transmute that energy out.